Today, we're going to introduce how to enrich first-party audiences for digital marketing purposes. Within Versium's Reach platform, there is a tile under the Business Data Tools section called Business Online Audience Append. There are a few accompanying tiles or tools that help produce audiences from scratch via the persona-based list. You can see with the green circle second from the left, as well as ABM lists and lookalike lists. To the far left, you see Business Online Audience Append. Before we enter into the specific tool, let me provide you with a first-party audience. Many of you produce first-party audiences or construct first-party audiences by attending conferences or just website traffickers or lead form fills, or a number of different methods, purchasing lists, whatnot. A lot of these first-party lists contain first name, last name, possibly a title, whether it be a business email address or a consumer email address, it does not matter. So this tool does work for both consumer targeting and for business targeting. I will go into more detail a bit later on what we do to enrich this audience. But for the time being, this is a business audience or B2B. So business phone number, the business name associated with these individuals that we're targeting, as well as some sparsely populated location information. So I'm going to take this list and I'm going to upload it to this Business Online Audience Append feature. Before uploading, it does give a few preferred formats, the necessary or required data for us to utilize in order to upload this file and to enrich it. Again, I am doing this with a business file, hence the reason why I went into the business tools. We also have the same tool for consumer. As you can see here, this green tile under consumer data tools. I just simply scroll down and go into our B2B or business data tools section. So again, click on this tile. I already showed you my file that I'll be using. I can import this file from HubSpot rather than dropping a CSV file into the tool, but I'm just going to simply click to import. Get the same file here. And the next step will provide me with the ability to map fields. If you have a header many times, it will automatically map on your behalf. There are a total of 163 records that are in this file. Now, before it is processed, I have the ability to create a new project or a folder that this enriched file will be saved in. So we'll call this test 50. And I have also the ability to manage exclusions and suppression lists. What are exclusion and suppression lists? Well, let me tell you, suppression lists are typically those that opt out, maybe current clients, competitors. One-time exclusions means, maybe we enriched a file a couple weeks ago and I don't want to enrich and utilize the same record and have my match credit allowance deducted if I were to duplicate efforts and enrich the same record. So what we're able to do is select a list, a prior list to exclude, or a suppression list to exclude. Click Create. And just within a matter of a few clicks, we're able to process this file and enrich it. Now, what does enrichment mean? Well, we're taking business information in this case, and we're overlaying consumer information. Those that are familiar with this, the issue I'm going to describe, this should pretty much hit home for you. Especially with business information, a lot of individuals interact or log into platforms like Google or Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn using consumer data. So with business data, you end up getting a fairly low match rate, somewhere between maybe 10 to 30% match rate. By overlaying consumer information that consists of potentially every email address associated with an individual, phone numbers associated with that individual, and location data, basically address information associated with that individual, we will help you identify their online profiles and unlock them. Especially when it comes to programmatic, you're associated with a pool of cookies. So the more PII, or the more consumer information associated with this record, the ability to match those cookies heavily increases, especially on the B2B side. Now, on the B2C side, it's not as dramatic, going from, let's say, 10 to 90% on Google. You'll probably match with at a higher rate initially on places like Google and Facebook if you have consumer information to start with as input data. So you might match at maybe 30 or 40%, maybe 50%, and we'll be able to get you up to roughly around, again, 80, 90%, depending on the platform that you're going to be running advertisement to. So we see match rates increase 3 to 5x for B2B, and I would say 50 to 100% increases on the consumer side of things. All right, so what you see here, after my 163 records have been enriched, we added an additional 278 contact points, and we will be deducting a single match credit on the B2B side. So 1 credit per record on B2B. It's a bit different on consumer. We actually will deduct 1 match if we are able to match. So that might be a little bit confusing. It's basically, for B2B, you're going to have a single credit deducted for every single record, period. So it's per input record. Now on the consumer side, it's not that way. It's a credit. A credit is deducted for every output we provide. So if we're unable to match to a consumer record, we do not deduct a match credit. All right. So in this insight view, before I export, utilizing the green pill or button here on the far right-hand corner, you can scroll down and take a look at firmographic information associated to the company, revenue, industry, location, employee count, annual revenue, other industries that are associated with the companies in this list, number of years in business, how mature the company is, different departments that are represented by the individuals that are in this list. We place people into cohorts or segment based off of seniority levels, as well as tell you, are these private or public or government entities? Now we get to a second map, and now we're highlighting the demographic information specifically associated with the individuals in the list. So where are those individuals located? Not where the HQ is for those companies, but where are the individuals? Are they primarily male, female? How many kids do they have? Some of this information is a little bit relevant for a consumer digital list or consumer targeting or B2C. For B2B, this might not be as relevant, but we're hoping to provide a bunch of information for you or a nugget of information to take away in order to help further segment your audience or to tailor your messaging that aligns with the targets in this list. As you can see, level of education, are they millennials, baby boomers, Gen X, household income, so on and so forth. So hopefully you're able to take some of this information and utilize it to assist with your campaign strategies. All right, from there, I'm able to export this list by simply clicking this green button. We have the ability to push this list directly to Facebook and Google without having to download a CSV file, or you can simply click this export as CSV. If I click that CSV export option, you'll receive a zip file in your downloads with a number of different formatted files. It's the same audience. It's the exact same audience, but formatted specifically for Google. One that's generic that could be maybe used on Twitter or a number of maybe Pinterest, You have StackAdapt, LiveRamp, LinkedIn, again, Google, Facebook, Instagram, and AdRoll. So once I have the file downloaded, the file will look like this. This one is specifically for Google. You have a number of different email addresses. Yes, the business email address in this case is included, as well as a number of additional consumer email addresses associated to each individual, as well as multiple phone numbers, their first name and last name, and then their location information. This helps identify and activate those profiles within Google. We also have other files for Facebook that are going to be mapped out, different columns. Again, every platform has a little bit of a different nuance and format associated with the file. Yeah, as you can see, all this PII is masked or encrypted, usually MD5 or SHA-256 to protect PII for privacy purposes. From here, I am able to, as long as I export this file, I'm able to run a lookalike list. Maybe I want to expand the audience through ABM. So through ABM, or I can take this initial 163 records and say, these are pretty junior individuals. I want to expand it, or maybe they're too senior. I want to get start targeting some people that will be actually tasked with purchasing or reviewing product. So you may want to expand the audience utilizing the ABM list generation tool here. We also have lookalike audience. So lookalike audience will provide you with similar companies and similar people representing those companies. So there's a lot of different tools that you're able to utilize based off of this initial record, or file, I should say. The firmographic append, well, as you can see, we're summarizing in these list insights on a macro level or a high level, full audience level. If you want to get individual details or data on the companies that you're going to be targeting, firmographic append, which will provide what kind of industry, SIC codes, location information to the company, revenue, headcount, all of the information that you see down below here in revenue, size by employees, so on and so forth. That will actually be line item. This is a quick summary of what our online audience tool can provide for online digital marketing purposes utilizing first-party data. If you have any questions, please contact sales@versium.com and we'd be happy to help you out. Thanks.